3 years ago, and I was renting with my parents at in a trailer in Lakeville, just because we couldn't afford anything, and I was like, okay, God, what's the next move? I know I'm not gonna live with my parents until I'm 80. Well, obviously not that, but I'm like, okay, you know, I need to start figuring out what my next move is. And so first thing, I mean, God gave me my earthly parents for a reason, and my dad helped me financially get on my feet when it comes to direction of get your credit put together, do the snowball effect, all of that great stuff. And so I was able to get my credit in line and got some schooling done and started working here in Northfield at Northfield Montessori, and things are going great. And I'm like, okay, now what? What's next? And I'm someone who can't just sit still. I got to keep going. And you'll see in the house, I'm already almost all the way unpacked. You'll see it. I'm a go-getter. And I actually applied, and they said that my credit was too high, and I was like, okay, so we're going to work on credit more. And so I eventually started applying for assistance programs, Section 8, all of that. I wasn't getting any answers. Year goes by, still no answers. Up until last summer, almost to the date, I think, maybe a week before this, Dana emails my boss and said, hey, we have this great opportunity. Do you have anyone at the center who's looking for housing? And so she brought me in her office, and she's like, hey, I think you should fill this out. You're a great applicant. And I was like, okay. So I filled it out, had an interview the next day over the phone with Sherry, and she's like, super excited. I'm going to hand you the paperwork. Next day, boom, everything turned in. I had 2 years worth of everything she needed.
In 9 hours.
In 9 hours, yeah. Like I said, I'm a go-getter. And a week later, I get a phone call, and she's like, hey, I just want to let you know that you've been accepted and we would love to partner with you. And for me, all of it just kind of flooded. I was super emotional. My son was in the back seat because we were on the phone in the car, and he's screaming because he's so excited. And I'm like, Lincoln, do you know what this means for you? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, you know your friends that you go to school with right now? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, you get to stay there. You get to continue to go to elementary school with these friends and this group and this community. And he was super excited, and we actually know the family whose house burnt down. They're rebuilding. Their son goes to my child care center, and so he'll already be going into elementary school already knowing about half of this elementary class, and for him to be able to have roots, because I never really had that as a kid, so to be able to have somewhere stationary, and we aren't going to be bopping around everywhere just to make sure that we can afford where we're living, is always been the dream. And now that it's actually happening for him, to where he's going to be able to grow up and say, oh yeah, this was my childhood friend. You know, I was able to stay out until the lights came on at night and then go inside. I didn't have to have my mom with me all the time because it wasn't a safe environment for me. I mean, even now, I'll keep the garage door open and he'll be out here doing chalk, and I'll be inside of the house, and I don't have to constantly be looking and being like, where are you? Where are you? Like, I know he's okay. I mean, I can hear him, but I know you're okay on the driveway. I know that this is a safe area, and I go to bed every night with no anxiety, which was one of the main reasons why I couldn't move out in the beginning, is because I just didn't feel like it would be safe enough. And living here, it's so far has been just amazing, and I cannot wait for the next adventure and for kindergarten to start and starting the summer off on the right foot. So, and I just want to say thank you to all of you, because without every single one of you and all of the volunteers who helped build this, like, this wouldn't have never happened for my son and I. And so for it to be, for it to be able to happen for us, just
No, me too.
thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah.